Oh, hi everybody, it's Geneva. I am back with a freshly finished album. Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope you're having a great holiday and have a wonderful, wonderful New Year. This is bigger in format than I have made before. It's overall 6.5 by, I think, 11. Let me double check. Yes, 7 by 11, and it's 5 pages, so it's 2 3/4 inches deep. 5 pages means it's 10 pages, as you all know. Plus the inside covers have been used. Lots and lots of real estate in here for photos, memorabilia. This is just an amazing album. Of course, since I made it, it's possibly a little over the top, but I think it came out really, really well. I used Graphic 45's Time to Celebrate paper. It took me a long time to sit down and work with this paper because honestly it's not one of my favorites. I love the colors. I love the theme. I love the images. It was just very event oriented. And I had a difficult time trying to think my way around that. I let it stop me. But I've gone past that now. We have grown a little bit. And I think it came out really well. Now, the paper has a lot of one-way designs, which means you can only use it in one direction. So it's very directional paper. This size of album is a paper hog. I used a full 8 by 8, a full 12 by 12, and more. I used more than a full 12 by 12 pad. I have a handful of them, and so instead of just augmenting with plain cardstock, which is a totally acceptable thing to do, I just went ahead and used up the paper because I just couldn't imagine doing another one. But it came out beautiful. I will try to recall the things that I've used to create the album with, and I'll show and tell as much as I can. I have, I didn't wrap the cover, so it was black chipboard, and I just inked the edges to make sure they were nice and black, and then I've layered paper on top. You can see the spine is embossed, and the back is relatively simple. I want to tell you up front that these flourish dies, I have no idea what the name are. They are at least 4 years old, probably closer to 5, and I don't think you can get them anymore, and my not knowing their name is not helpful. But this is what the large die looks like, and this is what the small die looks like, and I use them quite often. They are a favorite of mine, and this is the last piece of the set. And it's got a number on it, DC0317. I don't know if that's helpful or not, and I've never seen them again after I bought them. So there you are. We'll talk about this in a minute. The spine is embossed. I do have a Spellbinders grand caliber machine. I also have the the Sizzix machine, and I use them both. And let's see if I can find this embossing folder. Okay. Okay, it's named Embossalicious. It's an 8x8 folder. I picked it up at Tuesday morning. And I do a lot of my craft supply, hard supply shopping there. It's amazing what you can find. It's worth a toddle in if you're around one of their stores, just to go see what they have in the crafting section. So I did this with ivory paper, and I embossed it, took it out, and took my Tattered Rose Distress ink applicator with a sponge on it, and went over the top of that to give it just a little bit of color. I do use distress inks a lot. I love them. They were really hot when I started scrapbooking, so I accidentally discovered how wonderful they were. But there you are. Let's see, what else have we got here? We have got this. This is done with a Martha Stewart around the page set. I didn't use the corner piece. I just used the swirling lace piece. And what I do is I cut a strip of black, and this is wider than 1.25 inches, but I cut it at 1.25 inches. I start right here at this edge, always, and I always have the paper longer because I never know where I want it to be trimmed. So I will punch one side, then I flip it over, start exactly the same spot, and punch again, and you have this lovely piece of lacy paper here. And of course you can do more than 1.25 inch, but I found that's the minimum width for doing this technique. Experiment, have some fun. My next thing, this is a clock die, and I'm pretty sure it's a Cherry Lynn die. And this is what the die looks like. Again, I don't know if you can still get it, but there are clock dies out there. It comes with this little, what they call angel wings, and so it'll make up a background. And it also comes with whoops, an hour and a minute hand die. So it's a pretty neat little set. I love vintage, so I'll be using these for a long time to come. I think I got them about a year ago. There's a little vintage bicycle tucked behind here, and again, I think it's a Cherry Lynn die. And this is a feather, and it's a cut and emboss die. I don't know who it's from. It's really literally a pain in the ass to work with, but the effect is worth it. I again cut it out of ivory and used the Tattered Rose to go over the top of it after it came out. And I also, I don't know if you can see the shimmer or not, but it does have a little bit of shimmer. And I use pan pastels. I love this stuff. I found it on eBay. I found the white on Overstock. It's out there. It's available. Don't pay too much for it, okay? It can be quite expensive, so do some cost shopping. But it comes in wonderful, wonderful iridescent colors. It also comes in just basic colors. You know, if you're a little more artsy than I am, then you know this might be a wonderful thing for your stash of craft supplies. But I have all 7 of the shimmer colors. What's next? Butterflies. The butterflies are memory box. And oh, I don't have their packages anymore, but they are memory box, and it takes 2 dies to make the butterfly, and they are sold separately. I think the little one is Pippi, and I don't remember the name of the large one. I bought these a long time ago, and I haven't looked to see if they're still available, but they are something I use regularly. They are a beautiful, beautiful butterfly. There we go. So this would be for the big one, and they come this way or this way in the package. I took the plain butterfly and I cut it out of white, and then I used the decorative one and did a cranberry. Now you notice the white isn't white, so I use pastel chalk, and if I can find them I'll show them to you. I don't buy expensive anything. I got these off of eBay, free shipping, $8 in total. And so I took, let me see if I can find a little piece of white. Let me see here where I cut out my butterflies. So I have this wonderful, whoops. It's a tool used in doll making. I got it on eBay. It's simply an alligator clip attached to a nice, I think it's fiberglass. It's a nice solid handle. And so I can use it like a pencil. But I use these little foam balls. You can get them in the arts and crafts section. And again, don't pay too much for them. Go to the kids section. Stuff's always cheaper in the kids section. So I grab my, this is the color I use. So I grab, and I do it on the end because these are slick and I have to scrape them. So I go on the end, grab a bunch of chalk. And I just simply that and just smoosh it out. I mean, how easy is this? And I just, until I was happy with it, go put some more in the center, make it a little darker. And now you have pretty wings for the butterfly. I know, simple stuff, right? Again, don't go spending a bunch of money on craft supplies. You just don't have to. And if you're willing to wait, if you order on eBay, the suppliers from China, I have never had a bad experience, ever. Sometimes it takes a while to get here, but you know what? Again, I've never had a bad experience. And the quality is just fine. I mean, they've been making our stuff forever, right? Okay. The butterfly trails, which you have to have. They're crystals. They are probably from Michael's. I use my 50% coupon. I go in and I pick something that I want, but I don't want to pay full price for, and that's what I do. So I collect my more expensive stuff that way, and my cutting blades. You know, if you have a paper trimmer, print that 40% coupon and go in and, you know, if you're close to Michael's on a regular basis, and just stock up. Your glues, everything. You don't have to go in there and buy anything but one item. So, yeah, go for it. This is a Prima flower. It's a set of 6, and I got them at Hobby Lobby on a clearance. So I think you can still get them, but I don't know for sure. I used glossy accents on the lady, all over her, and on the clock. When I set it there, It was pretty, but it sort of faded into the background color a little too much since I cut it from the coordinating papers. So put some glossy accents on that, popped it right up. Anything else on here I can tell you? I don't think so. Okay, now for those of you who just care about, you know, flipping through, feel free to fast forward through all these explanations, for goodness sake. Inside cover. Oh, I really don't have my light well. And of course my camera wants to help, and so I don't know if my doing the light there is making it better or not, but I hope so. This is a this is a big book. It's the biggest book I've made to date, I think, as I recall, at least width-wise. Okay, the this is, I just set them aside. It's a Nestabilities from a Nestability set, and they're called lattice rectangles. I've had them for a while, so again, I don't know. It's one of my favorite borders to use. It's just, it's delicate looking, but it's a pretty sturdy edge. It doesn't fray and go all wonky like some of them do. So I simply have a cut apart under here just to show that it is a place to tuck. This is from the stickers. I glittered her up a little bit with the Stickles, and it doesn't have its name on this bottle. Of course not. It is Crystal. It's called Crystal. And I use it a lot. I love it. It's one of the prettiest colors, and Stickles are getting hard to find, so I don't know what's going on with Ranger with that. So I use magnets throughout the thing. So this has a magnet closure. It opens. Place for photos. This is cut with my Cricut. And I think it's from the Ornamental Iron group, but I'm not for sure. I subscribe, so I get all the images that they possibly can give me. Flips open. This is from a Spellbinders set, and it's this set, which I've used in various places, and it's called Ironworks. It's a Shapeabilities. It's a two-part set. So I use this piece a lot. It's just a beautiful, beautiful little accent piece. You see we have a pocket here, and this is just one of the cut-aparts. This here is cut using this piece, and I just trimmed off the part of the circle I didn't want. And I have to build that paper. Let me see if I can find it. Oh my goodness. Here it is. It's under my mat. Cardstock, I use black, I use white, I use ivory, depending on what it's going to sit on. Since most of this paper has an ivory feel to the background, that's what I chose. And it's thin paper. It's like wrapping paper thin, but it's a crafting paper. So I put spray glue all over the one side of the cardstock I'm using, and I just plunk it down on the paper and then just trim around it, so I have a nice sheet I can run through my die cutting machine. This little underpiece again is from the it's this little guy. He was perfect. And this is called Ironworks by Spellbinders. The flower is just, I use this little punch. There are lots and lots of them out there. This happens to be an EK Success one. If you have a nice big Michaels, or if you have a Hobby Lobby around, it's a great thing to use your 40% coupons on, is that big stuff. This is held closed with a string closure. This is just a simple brass brad. This is baker's twine, and I just strung 3 little beads on there and tied a knot in the end, just to give the end of the string some weight. So these come open, and you'll see my 1/8 inch gutter. I use it all over the place, so when you actually put photos in here or add your own things, there's room for them. This piece is this piece of the Ironworks. It's this one right here. This is from the tags and the little chipboard pieces that come with it, which is very small amount. This isn't one of their grand collections. This was a smaller collection. You get, I think you get 8 designs instead of 12. And this is a full-size tag. This is Hug Snug that I have used my Distress stain on. And I use it out of the spritz bottle because I like the sprayer. So depending on how strong you want it, I do a couple of spritzes of my color and then like 4 spritzes of my water, and then put the piece in there and make sure there's some air in it, and just shake the bejesus out of it, and it colors it, and it stays colored. I use my my heat tool to blow dry it, and you come out with some really beautiful colors using the Distress stain, whether it's in the sponge top bottle or the spritz bottle. Play with it. You know, the more stain you put in, the darker it's going to be, and of course the more ribbon or seam binding you put in, you know, you'll have to add more product to get enough for it to color it. But it makes beautiful colors, especially if you're using Graphic 45. Those two companies, their colors work together so well. Okay, so there's the inside cover. This is page 1. A little decorative piece here, which was punched with, again, Martha Stewart on the edge punch. Deco Fan created this. This corner piece here was created with the corner punch. You just stick your open up your wings, stick your paper in, and I'm always going to the back side and make sure I've got everything in there the way I want it. Then punch it and then just trim it off. Quick and easy thing to do. I'll get through this technique in just a second. I want to show you the interactivity of this. Okay, so this flips open. This flips open. Little tiny, a slim pocket. This opens again. 2 spaces for photos or journaling. And a bigger pocket that has plenty of room to add whatever you would like in here, within reason. Okay, now this I use throughout the album, and where are they? It is curved borders too. Now I have, I think I have all of the sets they have of this, but I can't be for sure. I don't know that I find everything. So this edge here, it looks, you know, like a little bit like a doily, is cut with this one. And so the first thing you do is you take your piece and you make yourself a nice straight line. And there are other people who show how to do this, so I'm going to do this sort of quick. And since this is black, I use a white chalk pencil. Okay, that gives me a nice straight edge and plenty of room for my curve to stay on the paper. And the chalk pencil will erase with a white eraser, so don't worry about that. So you see these, there's notches. You'd have to choose the two that you want to have cut. I also have a center mark on it, but I'm not going to worry about that right now. I would mark the center here, especially if it's a longer than my my die. You want to center. So I'm going to use the first notch on each end just to make it simple. Okay, now I'd put some light tack tape on there and run it through, excuse me, and run it through my machine. And you get your edge, which is this edge right here. Now when you're ready to do the to put, and this is totally optional, of course, it looks beautiful without it, but since it was there, you know, why not utilize it? So again, using the line, you want to start with a straight edge, and I used the one that had the decorative punch on it. And again, you want the notches towards the line. Okay, so you do this one, and then you line your decorative one up. The notches facing the same direction. I tacky tape it down, run it through. Then I pick up this one, leaving this one in place. Put it on the other side. Tack it down and run it through again. And that will give you this. Now I don't trim anything until I'm ready to mount it on my page. Okay. Now when you're doing your pattern paper, I do both sheets at the same time because I'll take this piece and use it to line up my paper. See, this was my cut, and I found a piece of different colored paper. Here's my so I would cut it to the width that the page ended up being. Put this on. Grab my plain edge. Match it up. Tape this down so it tapes here and here, and then simply slide the black page out, the already cut one out from underneath. And with this tape down, it'll stay there. So if you're doing both pieces, you'll have your front and back. Now the only thing is you got to remember when you're doing this, you want the side that you want to see facing up on this side. And if you wanted this to show on when you flip the page, you need to have it turned down. So, and with this directional paper, you got to be really careful because you'll make a cut and it has to be done just right. If it's non-directional paper, you know, then you may or may not be able to turn it over depending on your cut. So you just have to pay attention to what you're doing and be thoughtful. And sometimes I get ahead of myself and I end up having to set aside a piece of paper to use somewhere else. So it's something you just gotta pay attention to what you're doing. We can only handle so many creative opportunities. That's all I'm saying. Okay, glitter. So we've done that. There are large photo mats in between. I used the 6x6 paper. It was a wonderful way to use. This is my Crocodile Corner Chomper. I think it's this one. Yeah. It's got deco and stub, and I use the stub end. I use the deco end a lot as well. It really coordinates well with this Deco Fan Punch set from Martha Stewart. Here I used a smaller one, and it's from Stampin' Up. And it's a little stub punch, and I don't know if you can still find it. You know, their stuff comes and goes. Okay. Oh, I got to playing with it so much it fell off. So this is a gatefold, obviously. I used the chipboard piece circle within the frame, and I put magnets on it, covered it with paper, and then did a little decorative piece on the inside. This is a sticker, and I think this is a large scalloped circle from Spellbinders, one of their nestability sets. Okay, here again the iron pieces, the ironworks, and there's a magnet here, and here, and here. So this opens way wide, and it does the same thing over here. Just keeps opening up. And in the center you have a nice big pocket. You tuck here, and of course this is very big. Now these are the Deep Border Punch Daisy Fan by Martha Stewart. And they're perfect in my mind to go with that Deco Fan. Now these little gold circles are what was left when I cut these in my gold paper. So it's this little circle in here, and I always hang on to stuff. Never, you never know where it might just be totally useful. And so, don't throw stuff away until you're all done. Don't think I have any more surprises in here, but we'll see. Nothing new. This is a piece of chipboard. This is again the Hug Snug dyed with the Distress stain. This is part from the tags and pockets. And these layer open. And it's just places to put nice large format photos. Now when I build, I do try to remember that this is a place to store memories, and while we want it to be beautiful, we want it to be sensible enough to be able to actually use. This is 3 pockets, 3 little file folders that you can put photos or journaling in. And when they're out, you have this wonderful just image here, and it's from the first sheet of the paper, the signature page paper. And well, there you go. I thought it was lovely. There's plenty of room in these pockets for more than just these file folders. I almost didn't put anything in there because I love the way that came out. Okay, here the button is a paper button done with my memory box dies. The gold strip is just a strip cut off that gold foil paper mounted on cardstock that I showed you previously. This is the Deco Fan. We open up, and it's simply a pocket. I took this tag and fussy cut it across, and just fussy cut the people out. Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. I did not think so entertaining on purpose. I'm sorry about that. This flips open, and the pocket here, and it goes open and open again, and then this opens this way. Lots and lots and lots of real estate. And again, the tag. This little button here is from the chipboard pieces. Opens and opens. Now the black underneath is same piece that I did the gold from, But instead of utilizing the edge here, I used the center piece. So I cut the decorative part off and just had the center, which made a great spot to mount that button on. This, of course, is from the Ironworks. It's this piece. Open here to another pocket. And then this whole thing flips open. It's mirrored on the other side, and I left this so you could tuck something under it on both sides, on both of them. So they're both okay. Tuck here, tuck here. You can also tuck under there. It would look pretty, something tucked under. Yes, this is very wide. When it's all open, it's 33 inches. My goodness. Okay, and pockets here. And of course, you can tuck something up under there. There are two waterfalls in here. This is the first one. And it's magnetic, but there's two magnets here. So as this gets filled up, you can put it on the lower magnet if you need to help keep it closed. So this is chipboard. This is this. Again, I cut it at 1 1/4 inches and punched both sides. And you can put 2 by 2 images on here easily. 2 1/4 square would cover the paper. 2 by 2 would give you a nice border of paper around it. So they're all, there you go. What do we have here? This is a memory box die, the Flourish, and I cannot find it anymore. So this could be stamped on if you wanted to. You don't have to, you know, do die cuts like all I do. You could do stamping. Just let your imagination roll with you. This is from the Pockets and Tags. I don't, yeah, I do. You could tuck something in there if you wanted to. This opens up to reveal a frame pocket, and it's an 1/8 space here, so you have plenty of room to put things. So the from the cut apart. Just tuck anything you want to in there. The mat. Okay, again, the lacy ribbon made with the punch, and again this one was done again with the swirling lace. Buttons from the chipboard, and these are the same. They do the same thing. A little space for journaling. And this one opens like this. And I used, this is a graphic 45 stamp from another collection, as was the other one in there. Okay, next page. This is a memory box die. I don't think you can still get it. And this is from an older Graphic 45 set. I didn't find these stamps particularly useful, the stamp set for this one, but I don't throw parties, so you know, somebody who does, it might be a nice set to have, but for me they just didn't spark any interest. Now this you can pull out either way. This little photo mat tucked underneath, and these are identical pockets on each end. The tabs are a Spellbinders tab, and yes, it's this set, less the mustaches, and it's called Creative Page Tabs. It really is an older set. I don't know if you can get them anymore. They have some nice interesting little tabs that you could cut. And photo mat in between the page here. This thing really did take me most of the month of December to create. Okay, the last page. Use that same frame die set as before. This is from the stickers, and this must be from the paper cover since it's so glossy. This is one of the cut aparts. One of the chipboards pieces. So fun. There it is. There's room behind here. You could tuck something there. And this opens out like this. And again, this is from another Graphic 45 stamp set. Again, the Hug Snug seam binding dyed to match my papers. This opens, place to tuck something in there, and this actually hides a waterfall, a nice big one. The cover is a pocket, and then you have these waterfall pages for larger photos. I think I put together a nice album that is not a single event oriented. It could just be a life album, something lovely for that favorite girl person in your life or yourself. This is the only place I really did some fussy cutting. I wanted to use the image. It was too wide, so I just cut it out of the 6x4 cut apart and took the flowers and the banner and the lady and just stuck them down. It was fun. Quite honestly, it was just something fun to do. Okay, so this opens this way, and with a place for journaling. This is a Tim Holtz stamp. When I want to see love defined, I look at you. And then, let's see, this opens again this way. This opens all the way up this way. And this opens this way. It's two places here for putting goodies. a little pocket here, and then this, of course, you can use to tuck under. If you had a 7-inch photo, I think it would tuck under there fairly easily. Okay. There it is. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to ask. And I will see you again really soon with something else, I hope. Well, soon being relative. Y'all have a great, great holiday, and I'll be back.